Hello everybody and welcome to episode 34 of Competitive Magic with the Cardies. I'm your host from Italy, Andrea Mengucci, and joining me we have Javier Dominguez from Spain.
Hello everyone.
And that's it, because Anthony is getting ready to once again go through the Pacific Ocean to reach the America to play the Pro Tour, so he left early. And it's just me and Javier today. How's it going, Javier?
I'm pretty well. How about yourself?
Good. I'm good. Very stressing week as I have to get, my YouTube videos, my channel Fireball articles and videos, and as well as testing, of course, since I'm leaving next Monday. What about you?
I'm leaving on Friday, so I'm kind of excited to go. But I was wondering, how is it feeling for you to go back to testing for a tournament like this? It's like being something you missed, something you're like, well, I'm feeling old to do this again. How are your impressions? I want to know that.
Well, I would say that it's very fun to, practice with friends, talk about it on Discord and things like that. All these Discord things very much feels new to me because, old Pro Tour testing was just, was mostly done in paper, right? Or in person. So I really look forward to Monday, where I'll meet with the rest of the team, and we'll be drafting and doing a lot of paper testing. But so far, it's been very fun to share thoughts with people like VEEDEO, Arne and Toffel. By the way, huge shout out to Arne and Toffel, who are always playing in Discord. It's very, very cool. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad you're liking it. It's quite. I think it's part of the tournament experience. The PTs will not be the same if it was not all these things before the tournament, right?
Yeah, I've been putting in a lot of real paper draft because I think that how the policy for maybe the people that they're not playing the PT, they don't know about the draft policy. It's kind of wild, and basically, correct me if I'm wrong, but the policy is that you open your booster, your 15 cards booster, and there's 2 flip cards in this booster, and you have to reveal both of them to your table. Then you have to sleeve your pack, and then you start drafting. So everybody's draft sleeved. But you get a lot of informations because, you can see up to 16 double face card before even you start drafting the pack. So it's going to be overwhelming to draft in paper for sure.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I got stuck in the part of there's 2 double face card in every pack. That's true. I didn't realize. I should have realized before, but I didn't. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of information for sure. But I think that's also kind of interesting in terms of signals. But yeah, I don't know. It's I'm looking forward for the draft as well, but it's I don't know how it's going to go, but it's good to have this limited back in the tournaments. I mean, I liked it a lot in 3x PT, and I'm going to like it here for sure.
Yeah, I haven't drafted in a long time, and it's fun. I mean, I still very much prefer the constructed gameplay to the limited gameplay, but I would say that the draft deck building, and it's definitely a fun experience.
Yeah, it's also, I don't know, all the games are more unique. This is the classic limited versus constructed. I'm also traditionally more a constructed player, but I guess as the years pass, I tend to be I'm a little bit more of a limited player, I guess. It's I don't know if it's the time or it's just me changing as a player. But I like both, so I don't mind either way.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, this the whole double face card thing. There's this new mechanic battle, which was definitely a fun experience to learn at the beginning how to approach it, whether you want to be aggressive to attack the battles or just getting the ATB and just kind of defend them. So we will definitely unpack everything after the Pro Tour, talking about our draft experience and of course the standard experience. But for now, we're just kind of checking up the news of the first weekend of March of the Machine constructed formats, shall we?
Yeah, we can also go through all the formats Anthony doesn't like, so it's kind of a plus,
Yeah, we're talking about Legacy and Pauper today, so check out for those at the end of the podcast for sure.
Cheers.
Yeah, Anthony will never listen to this podcast, so it's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, we can actually say we didn't talk about those, and he will never find out. I mean, maybe he will. I don't know.
Yeah,
we can play the game and see if he realizes. All right, let's
right.
go.
Javier, did you play any VEEDEO challenges this weekend or just testing?
Yeah, I think I just tested. Oh no! I actually played one standard challenge, but and two different friends congratulated me of making top 32 with a 2-4 record. So here I go. I made top 32 for standard challenge. That's a 2-4 record.
It's not for everybody. Wow.
I mean, it's a good result, for a 2-4. Like,
yeah. So, didn't the standard challenge just has 64 people minimum now?
no, I think my challenge was less. I don't know how many it was. I registered because I was not doing nothing, and it was a standard, and it was few people, but then a lot of people registered in the last second. I think maybe it was like 40, 50, I don't know. But I just kept playing, I kept losing, and I forgot about the tournament, and I came back, and I just, almost came out of match because I forgot about it, but it was 2-3, or something like, or 1-3 or whatever, so I just kept playing, and I ended 2-4, and yeah, I got to 32, so yay. Good value.
Nice. Entry feedback. Very good value.
Entry feedback.
Yeah, the challenges are definitely good value.
I mean, they are good value. I mean, if you can win, or you can just, break even most of the time. I mean, if you go 0-2, you can drop, I guess. But that's it. If you go 2-2, you can just go 3-3, and you get your entry back. So it's kind of good.
Yeah, you have to have some let's say five hours free at home.
I think more just in case you top it.
Yeah.
If you have something you cannot avoid going or something, you have 8 hours.
Sure.
You need 8 hours at least, I think.
Yeah. All right, let's check up on them, because obviously that is the best source of competitive magic that happens every day. Every weekend, especially for a format like Modern. Starting on Friday, we see. I think I called this when Rhinos was popular, and when Rhinos and Creativity were so popular, I said that it was a very good time to play Living End again. And just first, second, and third on Friday are all leaving.
That's total domination, And the fourth player in the top 4 is also playing Rhinos. It's maybe Cascade was just too good all the way.
Yeah, Cascade definitely had a fantastic Friday, and
I want to ask you about something. I want to ask something about the Cascade. Do you think Cascade is a good thing for Modern? Do you think that you could like the format more if Cascade was banned or something? They ban, let's say they ban Violent Outburst. Would you feel that will make the format better or worse?
Personally, so Cascade. So today I played a league with Living End, right? And the first 2 matches, it was fantastic. It was unbeatable. It felt like I was playing Show and Tell with 8 copies of Show and Tell in my deck. But then the wheels fell off. I, hit the lows of the deck, and I finished the league 2-3. So what Living End is, it's just one of the many luck deck, but just slightly better than maybe other luck decks. I think it's fine. I'm definitely not going out saying you should ban Outburst. Sometimes they had fantastic draw against you and you lose, and some other times they just they just don't do anything and you beat them. That's been my experience in Prague as well. I went 1-1 against them. One draw great, one draw poorly. Is it healthy for the format? I mean,
yeah, I'm wondering, because
I don't know.
It's very the thing against Cascade decks. It's all the games look the same. There's not much difference whether you
No, that's true.
I'm just asking because that's been around for most of the Modern's life, Cascade decks or whatever. And I was wondering, so you think it's fine? You think it makes the format better?
I think it's fine. I think particularly right now, there's not that many good Teferi Time Reveler deck. Mostly it's just Creativity. So I think that's one of the reasons. There's definitely very many good cards to stop the Cascade decks. For example, we can immediately skip to the Saturday challenge, where the second place finisher is Blue-White Control, which I played on stream and had a very good performance, losing 1 or 2 games, going 5-0. That's a deck that has so many tools for Cascade matchup, it's not going to lose to Cascade.
Well, it plays 3 copies of Manic Chalice of the Void. I am not sure that's a sign of a healthy dynamic in a format like Modern.
Well, if you look at Chalice of the Void against the top decks, It's very good because you hit 0 on Living End and Rhinos, and you hit 1 on Murktide and Hammer.
Yeah.
So Chalice of the Void is just...
It's a good card.
I think it's a very good card right now, for sure. Like, the top 5 decks, unless you're playing against Creativity, it's all good.
Yeah, no, that's true. It feels like a cyber card put in the main deck, though. But that's what it is. I guess Modern is a little bit less spread than before, right? This last month, there are less like wild decks, a little bit more of like the same decks, I feel.
One of the decks that maybe didn't perform as well as we could have thought was Hammer. Only 1 in the 4 challenges top 8.
Yeah.
You have this new card, Search of Salvation, which is now played in the main deck and even in the sideboard over Blacksmith Skill and Spell Pierce, since that card protects you against Force of Vigor. But
no, that's very true though. Like that's a good point. But I still think like if Force of Vigor is very played, Hammer is not a good idea. Like that's still the same thing. Even if the card's good or whatever. Like it's not like Rhinos. Yeah. It's not like Rhinos needs Force of Vigor to beat you. Like Rhinos is good against you, plus it also has Force of Vigor. That's where it hurts the most, because you're just like not having like a good matchup against that deck. I don't know if Search is good enough, but it does protect you. It does not protect you against explosives, does it?
It does not.
It does not. It's
only X-Proof.
Yeah, because explosive is also not like Force of Vigor and explosives are the big problems for Hammer, and those 2 cards are just like very hard to counter with 1 card. There's nothing that protects you from both, right? So you will
1 mana, definitely not.
Yeah. No, exactly. Like if you had a card that will for 1 mana protect you against both, that would be what Hammer will need, I think, to compete in this. I mean, of course, it's a good deck. It's a powerful deck. Don't get me wrong. But that's it, right? Like it's just not. I don't think it's like a tier 1 anymore. So I like Hammer. It's a deck. I've enjoyed myself quite a bit, but I don't think Hammer is. I think this is the lowest Hammer has been since its inception, I think.
Yeah. So so the next days, probably today or tomorrow, I have to do my new power rankings for April, and so you would think that Hammer goes down to the A tier, have to put it in the B tier.
Yeah, I think Hammer. I think this is the first time since Hammer exists in Modern that it's not tier 1. That's how I feel about that. Yeah.
I could say that. I could see that. Yeah, I would say that the best decks, the A tier right now are Murktide, Creativity, and Rhinos.
Yeah, I would say.
Even looking at the results, I think this just is confirmed.
I think at this point, I perceive it like there's a gap between these 2 decks and the rest. Like those are the 3 good decks now. And there are the other decks that they can obviously go to tournament and they're like also good, but like they're not as good as these 3. This is the big 3. I think Modern is shipping in that way. I feel like now there's a gap. There's a power level gap. I think these decks are becoming better and better. Like the Rhinos one with Mortai, this is a better deck. Creativity's decks are actually quite well tuned right now. So yeah, that's I think so.
There's an interesting list from a popular archetype, which is Amulet Titan, that won the Saturday Challenge, which was playing 4 Pyrexian Metamorph in the main deck. I don't think we've ever seen that before.
No, I mean, I don't really get... I mean, I get what Metamorph can do here, but I don't understand like why you also need like so many copies of this effect. Like, it doesn't really power up you that much in the early games. I mean, it can, but like it's not like you need it. I don't know how you feel about this. I'm definitely not an Amulet expert, but I learned the deck a little bit before. I don't know if you remember, for Pro Tour London, where this was my second option. So I learned the deck back in the day, but I don't really get the Metamorph there.
Yeah, we can also shout out the article that Dominic Harvey wrote about this deck list. So if you're interested in Amulet, definitely follow Dominarvia on Twitter and check his article.
It's more like a book than an article, but yeah.
Or sure, yeah, exactly.
It was I think it's very good. I'm not an Amulet player anymore, but if you're an Amulet player, I agree with Mengu. I actually read the content and it was quite good. I'm not playing the deck anymore, but yeah, I think it's very good quality, and it's the kind of content that I personally like that kind of content a lot, because it's very educative is the word. Like it's not just, it's trying to tell you how to think when you play the games with the deck, which is, I like it.
Yeah, this weekend at the store, there was a player buying cards for Amulet, and I asked him if he built the deck because he saw the guide or whatever, and he just didn't know about it. So I gave him now 30 pages to read about the deck he's buying, which is so such a good thing to have, right?
Yeah, exactly.
To have access to for free.
Yeah, it's also open. It's just the model, like, it's open, but you can pay for it if you like it. So I like that model a lot.
Yeah, I still get comment on your Pioneer guide on YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's
of people.
As you could see, that's the kind of content I like. So, well, we'll see. But yeah, I don't really get the Metamorph much. I mean, I think it does have some merits, but I also think you could have like a medium ground, right? Like you could just play two, because Metamorph is a card that if you draw like you draw like two copies in a situation where they're not great, they're just like super bad. And even if you want this effect, you can go crazy with the Primeval Titans and the Metamorphs also. I think it could be like a 1, 2, or 3 off. I think 4 is like too many, the way I see it. But you can also copy the Amulet of Vigor and just go crazy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But
yes. That's mainly what I thought.
Yeah, but that's still probably not the reason to play 4, because if you don't draw the Amulet, it's also like a clunky card to draw 2 off. It's it's playing it over like a Thusa, right? So.
Yeah, no Azusa in this list.
You could, even if you think Metamorph is better, you could probably play like 3 Metamorph, 1 Athusa, or even 2 and 2. The first Athusa you have to play, I think, because you sometimes pact for it, right? So I think cutting the first Athusa is just wrong. I'm pretty sure it's wrong to not play a single Athusa because the lines exist and they enable kills. But at least I could see 3 Metamorph, 1 Athusa, assuming Metamorph is good, which might be, but not 0 Athusa. Athusa, that's my input here.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely something worth mentioning. But overall, Amulet Titan still a very popular deck. I believe the RCG was the 5th most popular deck. So definitely need to respect it. And I think it's good to read that guide, even if you don't play Amulet, but just maybe read the section where they talk about how to play against your deck, which is always important.
So the one thing about Amulet is I think it got a considerable buff in the last sets. Like the new land is, it's good. Like this deck keeps getting like new good cards. Like Tyrannus Rex is also a good option to have on the sideboard. So the years go by and this deck keeps getting better and better. And I think the power level of this deck is actually like super high nowadays. The issue is though, you said there's 3 decks, which are Creativity, Rhinos, and Mortite. 2 of them are Blood Moon decks, right? And Blood Moon is like the best card against Amulet. So I think now we're in a position where Amulet is just basically losing to the best decks, but beating everything else. And what I mean with this is Amulet is not great right now because you're going to have a tough time against those decks. But if for some reason Rhinos just stop seeing a lot of play, which has happened before, or Mortite just loses ground to a deck like Omnath or whatever, Amulet is now strong enough, I think, to take over the format. I mean, not take over, but because, again, a deck like Amulet cannot be like the deck to beat because it will fall to Blood Moon. But it's not that far from becoming a tier 1 again. I think it's just about Blood Moon at this point.
Yeah. Also, we mentioned earlier about how Hammer Time was bad because of Force of Vigor and Wear Tear and etc. And this deck also suffers those cards heavily. So I think it's mostly just the package of Urza Saga decks that are now maybe struggling a bit more than, I don't know, 5 months ago.
I think, obviously this deck is bad against Force of Vigor, but I think it's not to the same extent as Hammer. Like, I think Hammer just falls to Force of Vigor the same way Amulet falls to Blood Moon, in a way. You have answers, you can do things, but just like the card destroys you. I think Amulet can very often just have a good play or a good plan against Force of Vigor. Like, if you play an Amulet and use like a Grazer, and they have to Force of Vigor the Amulet because otherwise you could threaten to go off, that's not exactly too bad for you. Like,
that's a win for sure.
But in Hammer you have to. Yeah. You usually have you lose 2 permanents, but also you have to, like, even if you go Amulet and then you go Dryad land, Karoo land, and they Force of Vigor, you still get the land drops and you can threaten to go like Primeval Titan or whatever next turn. Like, this happens sometimes, and it's not like Force of Vigor destroys you so much. So I think, like, the issue, of course, Rhinos has both, which is even worse, right? But I think Magus of the Moon also a problem with this deck. But, like, yeah, I think Force of Vigor is not as good, even though it's good. I think, I was going to say, Urza Saga obviously weak against Force of Vigor. It's always going to be. But I don't know. I think if Force of Vigor was the only problem for Amulet, I think the deck could get away beating that card. Sometimes at least.
Yeah, one more deck I want to talk about in these top 8s this weekend is Bring to Let Scapeshift, which I will finally put in my top 15 best modern decks. It's a deck I have done very well with every time I play it on my YouTube channel, and 2 more copies in the top 8. Although I have to mention that one of the versions is the stock one, and the other one is insane. Have you seen it? It's from Kiara Works.
Which one?
Top 8 Saturday.
Okay.
He's playing 4 copies of Farseek.
Wow.
A card that we don't see at all anymore. And also 2 copies of Ragavan in this 5-color deck.
Yeah, this is wild, actually. Yeah, 30 land to 30 land to Ragavan.
30 lands to Ragavan. And then first in the sideboard 4 Containment Priest.
That's strange. Anyway, though, like this kind of deck, this Bring to Light, I mean, we've seen this before, but like they just keep being solid. Like they just keep happen to make top 8s here and there, and it's never too late.
Yep.
Like it has to be decent.
There is a player that posts a lot of modern results. His name is Anil on Twitter, and he keeps, every time he posts this, like last month win percentages of decks, the Bring to Let Scapeshift is always so much, it's very much winning compared to how much is played. And I mean, it's just it's very similar to what Jessica Breach was maybe like 6 or 9 months ago. Just, you know, it was winning a lot and it wasn't played at all. So maybe this could be the new, one of the best. I mentioned how Modern is missing Teferi decks, and this could be a very good Teferi Time Raveler deck.
I mean, Teferi plays well here. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this deck is underplayed. When I play against this deck, it's never like, well, it's about, you know, like it's so weak or whatever. Like it's because it's like a tier 3 or whatever, but it does put a fight. Like it has with the interaction, it has like a solid plan, and it has like good cards like Uran and Teferi, which are like the creativity cards. I think the issue here is like there's a lot of cards this deck shares with creativity. So the reason probably like to play this deck will be if you like the creativity shell and you think those cards are good, but there's like enough hate for creativity that you want to play this. Plus, I assume this has to be good in the mirror. Like this has to be good against creativity, because if they combo, you win, right? So
yeah, but like they can combo on turn 4, and you don't have like any interaction. So I don't think this deck is good against creativity, honestly.
No, I mean you have
like for you to win, you need so much more time.
I mean, you can still combo to turn 4, right? Like the turn 4,
sure.
They turn 4 Archon, and you turn 4 like Valky, exile the Archon. That's.
Yeah, I guess you can. Yeah, I guess 1 Archon is not safe. Maybe 2.
Yeah, but 2
you have to go for 2 Archons.
Yeah, but 2 then maybe you're in the zone where they can just kill you with the Valakuts.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know, I'll have to play, but I will think this is better against the. Also, yeah, maybe.
As you mentioned, these decks are so super similar. They're both 1-card combo, and they have super strong plan. The creativity plan has Fable of the Mirror, whereas this one has just Dryad. I guess it's their engine.
I mean, Dryad's probably better in the heads up, right? Like, imagine you could play Dryad in the mirror match of creativity. That would be a sick card.
Also, like, so many games with this deck, you just win with Dryad. You just go, like, Dryad 2 fetch lands, and you have 1 Valakut. That's just, you know, 12, just so much
damage. But if you do this, now it's almost impossible for the creativity player to actually, like, combo.
Yeah.
Plus, it's very hard for the creativity deck to remove Dryad. You know?
Yeah, they only have binding.
Yeah, so have binding. And you have binding as well, so you can just hold the binding. So when they come in response, you bind the binding, and then just Valakut, fetch, you know, like kill the tokens. I think the more I think about it, I think this should crush creativity. Crush, I mean, contextually speaking, of course, like be ahead, not crush, but like.
Yeah. I'm always afraid to say that the creativity, because like whenever I play with creativity against a deck that doesn't have counterspell, I always feel ahead because my combo is just so good.
Well,
like,
yeah, but
my 1-card combo is so good.
Well, it's uncommon that there's a one card combo that beats your one card combo, but this one does. That's the thing.
Okay.
Like this.
Yeah.
I mean, I will have to play, but on paper, I also have played both. I mean, I have played the creativity quite a bit, and I have played against this deck a few times. I know this deck is just so scary.
Yeah. Speaking of combo decks that like turn one combo, like it's the Z1 newest build of Glimpse of Tomorrow, which I streamed with today. Now they play Omnath's Locus of Rage instead of Omnath's Locus of Creation. The difference is that the Locus of Rage is the second one printed, and it triggers with every
land, no?
Land. Yeah, every land you get an elemental, and then you trigger the Reason Reef whenever you trigger an elemental.
Oh, I see.
You flip a land and you trigger Omnath, which puts an elemental, so you trigger again Reason Brief. So I feel like whenever I did the thing, I always drew my deck all the time, and then you have the Endurances to not deck yourself.
Wow, that's wild.
And then you finish it with Fury, bolting all your 1/1 elementals, so that you just shoot your opponent with Omnath.
Wow, that's too much to process.
Yeah, no, for real. Magic Online, it took ages to win, but I did it 2 or 3 times, and it was good. It was definitely like a very convoluted turn 1 win, but it did happen every time.
Yeah, because it's a 7 mana one. I thought it was the 4/1. I was confused. Yeah,
no,
yeah.
It's a 7 mana one. It's a 7 mana one. Locus of Rage.
7 is so much for Modern.
It's so much, but you flip it randomly, and you have 4. So but if you have enough permanents, between
this deck could play the All Omnath to cast this Omnath, right? To ram, like you could play 4 Omnath of the old one and 4 of this, so you can go Omnath Tribal.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, as anyone has been iterating versions of Glimpse for a while, and I've never seen this one before, so I'm sure that we'll see more from him.
This is wild.
Yeah. With 4 challenges per weekend, there's a lot more spice, and it makes very good for us to talk about.
And one more weekend, one more mono black Karn deck in the top 8 for challenge.
Yeah, I'll stream that tomorrow. I'm very excited.
Keeps making top 8.
Is actually, Charlene is the person that kind of started the whole Cabal Coffers Urborg thing in Modern.
I see. I didn't know that, but this deck's... They cut the Thoughtseize. They cut the Thoughtseize though. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's been a while that they cut Thoughtseize. I like that for sure. He's now playing with 4 Shadow of Doubt in the main deck.
And 4 Invoke Despair still. Yep. Okay. I mean,
Invoke Despair. Ooh, notably, he cut the he cut the tutor. He cut the Profane Tutor.
Yeah, I think I like this deck more now. It doesn't have the tutor.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting. There's 8 Field of Ruin. Wait, is Shadow of Doubt Field of Ruin a combo?
I think so, yeah. He also cut the Ensnaring Bridge, which I think this player or someone else beat me with the bridge. I will not cut the bridge. But other than that, yeah, I mean it's...
Yeah, that's weird. Why did he cut the bridge?
Yeah, this deck is not bad as well.
Yeah. Actually, I played a modern weekly event a few days ago. I went 3-1 with Scam, and I lost to Mono Black in the last round.
You cannot Blood Moon this deck. I mean, you can probably, but it's ambitious.
I must Blood Moon the deck, but they keep on playing Magic.
Yeah, exactly. Like 10 swamps, it's out of swamps. Also, it doesn't need that many swamps, right? Like,
well, you need 4 for the invoke.
No, I mean for non-invoke cards, like the rest is.
To play Magic, yeah, you only need 2, yeah, for sure.
Even
all right.
One.
Lots of spice as always. Of course, there's also the Murktide list. We see the one that me and Brett talked about last week, too. By the way, if you haven't heard episode 33, me and Brett we talked about. Brett was a special guest on the podcast. We talked about Magic in general, and also he's top 4 at the SCG Richmond.
Nice.
Top 8, yeah.
All right, now what about move forward for the tournament, for the formats?
Sure. Yeah, let's talk about Pioneer, shall we?
Yeah, Pioneer is also, things are happening still there.
Yeah, let's start mentioning the Mana Trader series, which is a it's a pretty good event. Lots of people competed in that one, and it was a 2 days event with I don't know if they played only the top eight on day two, but they certainly played it in 2 days. And the winner from France, Remy Fortier.
Yeah, congratulations with the black red
Yeah,
mid range.
He was playing red black mid range, but my eyes immediately went to the mana base and I see Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth.
Yes, you're a very well educated player of the
But
archetype.
I also see 4 swamps. How many swamps did you play?
I mean, I play like 2, 3, 4, but 4 plus Urborg is a lot of swamps. I don't.
And Takenuma.
Yeah, and that's like basically 5 swamps, 5 swamps. That's a lot of swamps. I don't like that many swamps.
And 2 hive. So he plays like
Yeah.
8 swamps.
Yeah. It's like 15 black still, red still though, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to talk about the mana base. Of course, I said everything I had to say on our special guide podcast, whatever it's called. From this mana base, not only the lot of swamps, but he also cut one of the Haunted Reach, which honestly might be correct, but the hunt is just like so good sometimes. But it's a thing to explore later. Just the deck might just be okay with 3 ridges also. Just saying.
Yeah. And there's 4 power word kill. I often talk about Rakdos with some friends of mine, and they all play without power word kill. They're so afraid of Atraxa.
Yeah, I mean, there's I think in this kind of answer, this lesson comes from like the VEEDEO times of John, right? Like, just spread your removal so you don't have like multiple copies that they are dead against one card, right? Like, if there is Atraxa in the format, you probably should not play 4 power kill. Like, if you think it's good, you should probably play 3 or 2. But playing 4 makes it so you can see these scenarios where you have like this bad removal 3 times or 2 times against an Atraxa, and that's just very bad. I like it spreading more the removals here, and I like the second Croxa in the main deck, but at least it's on the sideboard, which, to be fair, I mean, Croxa is better in the sideboard games usually, so if they're choosing here to go for Mystery Shadow Beatdown, which is fine if you spec a lot of Mono Green. I think Mono Green is now like more played. We'll talk about this a little bit later. So, yeah, I mean, this deck overall, except for Urborg, which I don't like for sure, but the rest seems just fine. Like, it seems well adapted to what's going on right now, with like Fortress and the Noxious Grass to be attacking Mono Green a little bit more. It's kind of, I mean, they did clearly put some thought, I think, in what was going on here.
Yeah, the Croxa has been reprinted in the latest set. The other day I was drafting, and I just saw Croxa. I was like, wow, I didn't expect that. This is there's so many. I don't know. I felt like it was a nice, nice addition.
Yeah.
Let's check up the challenges as well, because there's obviously some new cards added to Pioneer. The deck that got the most new cards is Mono Green. We have Sam Sherman winning on Saturday with 2 copies of Polukranos Reborn, 1 copy of Invasion of Ikoria, and 1 of Invasion of Ixalan. So, for those of you who haven't checked those cards, Polukranos Reborn is the 3 mana 4/5 reach that flips into, let's say, a Vermcoil Engine. So you have triple green with reach. That's going to be very good against the Spirits deck that used to be good against Mono Green.
Yeah, I mean, that's... I mean, it's just a card that's a triple green card that also has some late game value, but also, as I said, like, happens to slice single-handedly, like, your form used to be like worst matchup, right? So it's just a very good card for the archetype. Probably it's better than what I thought. I mean, I thought it would be fine, and I think the I don't know the name, the tribute of the Older Tree or something, the three green enchantment from the new set.
Yes.
I thought this
says whenever you spend more than 3 mana, you draw a card.
Yeah, I thought this card will also be good, but it seems like it's not. Like, the Mono Green experts are not playing it. But Polukranos, yeah, I mean, it's a 2 off, but if it's as good as it looks, it could be a 3 off also. Like, it just gives so much devotion. It attacks the battles if you play them, which some Shermans, I mean, it looks like they were trying, you know, playing 1 of each here.
Yeah, for sure.
It looks like they were just trying to see, you know, I mean, there's a world where both are, you know, better as a 1 off, but I don't think that's going to be the case. They're so different. They're different cards, and I mean, all of Invasion of Ikoria probably, Ixalan not better than Oath of Nissa, but maybe because of the legendary nature of the cards. I also think battles are not very good in multiples, but the first one is probably the easiest one to, you know, make it good. So I mean, Mono Green just got better, but this keeps being the trend, right? Like, there's a new set, some new cards happening for Mono Green, it becomes better, then it's more played, then people hate it out because they get back to the anti-Mono Green cards, and then we have another new set, and then it happens again. That seems to be the history of Pioneers recently with the card.
Yeah, Invasion of the Core is the one that tutors up a creature. I played against it in Modern, against Devoted Druid. I guess, it's just... it's a tutor effect whenever you want a Cavalier of Thorn here. Doesn't sound that good.
Yeah, but it's a little bit clunky. I mean, it's just like a card like, you can just... just can pin 7 for a Cavalier, right? Which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. Like, I don't know. You can play also 5 for a Polcanos. I honestly don't think this card's very good overall. I think the Invasion of Ixalan is better for Mono Green, but I mean, of course, the effect is powerful, right? Also, if you flip the Kodia, it's just a huge unblockable creature or whatever, but like, I don't know how much that matters, because if you're attacking for 6 and they're not blocking, chances are you're probably like doing well regardless. So yeah, I will default to think like the other one is better. I mean, they can be put with Stone Festival, right? Is that correct?
Yes, but you don't do anything. I guess you can attack.
I mean, you can just go Elf into turn 2 Invasion of Ikoria, to have another Elf, and then it's like a bad green Sunsenate, isn't it?
It's exactly what it is. It's like Finale of Devastation.
Yeah,
already.
So it's maybe it's just worse than Finale of Devastation. No?
It's a permanent in place that gives you devotion.
So it gives you 2 devotion. So it's better than Finale of Devastation. Yeah, so it's a Finale of Devastation that gives 2 devotion. Maybe it's fine. I mean, I'm not a big fan. I don't think the deck lacks devotion that much, especially if you add like Polukranos Reborn. It doesn't seem like it's gonna miss it. Yeah. I will have to try it, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna be great. Who knows?
Yeah, new deck also in the top 8 is blue-black Rogues playing Yuta Takahashi Invitational card that we're gonna see later in Legacy 2. That's Fairy Mastermind.
Yeah.
That's a Fairy Rogue, and Rogue was a very powerful standard deck that never quite broke into Pioneer, but maybe now can.
I mean, it's strange because I feel like this deck is like not bad. It's just like worse at mid-ranging people that Black Red is. And I think it's not very likely that these 2 decks can coexist in like a top spot of the metagame, because they were both like, Thoughtseize, Fatal Push, threats cards. Like they're both playing Shield Red, and cards like Nighthawk Scavenger are very good, but they're just simply worse than cards like Fable of Mirrorbreaker. So I don't think Fairy Mastermind is good enough in Pioneer. I think it's good in Legacy because people play a lot of cantrips. So you play Mastermind against a lot of decks, like Black Red or Red Green, even Mono Green, whatever. The card is not very good against Mono Green specifically. It's good against Kyoto, but also one card against Mono Green is not that much of a deal compared to other matchups. So I don't think this card is like good enough in this. I think the Mastermind is like pretty much a Legacy card where it's great, but it's well designed for that purpose. It looks right. I think you need your opponents to actually draw cards. Otherwise, this becomes like 2 mana flying for 2, which is fine. I mean, we have casted a lot of custom mage without spells, but power level nowadays is so high. I don't think this is good enough. Unless like Legacy has to be great. But here, I don't think so.
In Pioneer, Blue Red Phoenix used to be the best deck a few months ago, but I guess now people don't consider an opt anymore in their deck.
Yeah, exactly. But if you look at the top 8 of these 2 challenges, it's like Pseudo, Phoenix are similar. The only more similar thing is like Creativity, but it's still like, this card's not that good against Creativity. They play Spiking Hazard, so it's still fine there, but I don't think there are many card drawing effects in the.
Yeah, I saw one of our Patreon. We didn't mention the Patreon, Javier.
There's a new Patreon this week. Yeah, we should.
There's a new Patreon this week. Thank you so much, Michael. I hope you enjoy the stay in the Discord, where as I was saying, Niv was made a couple of good results in a row. posted on Twitter about it. I was like, oh, cool. Maybe, there's something more to this deck. And saw it in the top 8. I was like, basically like this is Spell Pierce and Drown over the Dreadbore and the Black Removal spell.
Yeah, I mean that it's also much better against combo, but then again, it's not really.
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
Like this deck can be good given the metagame. Like I think I will not be surprised if this deck is, for example, much better against Mono Green than Black Red, or against like Lotus Field or whatever. But then again, that's true regardless of Mastermind. Like there's probably better cards you can play against those specific 2 decks, right? Like even another counterspell.
New card, first weekend. Trying out.
That's also fine. Like you can just play 4 mana and you draw a card, and both players draw a card. That's fine. Like you draw 2 and they draw 1.
Draw a card.
So
you draw 2, they draw 1.
Yeah, so which is basically drawing a card, right?
Okay.
It's similar to drawing a card, which makes the card like a 2 mana. You remember Azure Mage from
See?
Yeah, so it's like a Azure Mage with flying.
Yeah, but it's a rogue, so it triggers Thieves Guild Enforcer,
it's a fine card. I'm just saying, like, it's not, in those matchups.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's not amazing here. But,
yeah.
I mean, if there's enough common in the metagame, this will be good. But I will hate to play this against Gruul or Rakdos specifically. Like, just, the Mooncrusher Giant menace there, just Mooncrushing your creatures. Yes. No good. No.
Speaking of Gruul, there's a new Gruul deck in Pioneer, I guess. Doomwake top 8 with the Ancient Imperiosaur. This is a bomb rare in draft that also happens to be Pioneer playable.
It's like a small Carney.
It's a 7 mana dinosaur. Convoke Trample War 2 gets +1/+1, +2/+2 for each card that they convokes it. Of course, you have 8 elves, Low Strike Beast, Izika's Chariot tokens.
Everything convokes this, but I think for me this is an ancient Carney. That's all I see.
It's a Carney.
It's a Carney. I think it's definitely a Carney. I mean, the posture of the dinosaur is similar to the Carney one. Don't you think so?
Speaking of Carneys, Javier, the editor of my YouTube channel gave me three Carnage Tyrant.
Yes.
Because he wants me, you, and Anthony to sign them for him in Minneapolis.
Nice. So take them there. Yeah, that's very nice. They will have like the 3 Carneys.
If you also want to have some Carneys signed in Minneapolis, bring it to us.
Yeah, bring us the Carneys and we would love to sign them. Absolutely. Yeah. So let's go back to this. This is like a Carney, and it's good. 2023 power level, so it's better than a Carney. But I mean, this dinosaur kills fast. I don't know how good it is because you have to spend the whole turn. Like in Pioneer with Gruul, usually like all your creatures attack most of your turns. So it's not like your creatures are chilling like in Standard where sometimes they are just there. Here you have like the Stormseeker you're attacking, but maybe there's enough like Lovestruck Beasts and Elves there too. It's a good thing for the Elves, that's for sure. It's not that easy, not that hard to cast this guy for like a 10/10 Ward 2, which is not easy to kill, I think. Right? And you can go Elf, Chariot, and then Boomba.
Yeah, and you can give it a haste and attack. That's a classic Restless Stormseeker with bomb, with expensive threats.
Yeah, but this time it's like attacking for lethal. Like this time you go, like
attacks for lethal.
Yeah.
I mean, not that Sky Sovereign wasn't really attacking for lethal, because sometimes just killing a creature and attacking for 6.
No, but against combo, for example, let's say you go to turn 4 and you have like a Lovestruck Beast, an Elf, and a Stormseeker. You just play 4 mana, tap these 3 guys. So these guys are 12/12, so you attack for 13 with haste and trample. And it's not, I didn't have to picture like a whole super hard situation. It's just like a Stormseeker and 2 Cheaters there. And that's like, that's, and if, I think I said Lovestruck Beast, like you could just attack for like 16. That's maybe good. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
One thing whenever I see this like Llanowar Elves deck, I always see 4 Stonebrain in the sideboard. Like I want your opinion on this, because does every deck that doesn't play blue need 4 Stonebrain in Pioneer to compete with the Atraxa and Greasefang decks? Or is it just, I don't know what to put in my sideboard, I guess I'll put 4 Stonebrain.
Well, the thing is, there's no card in Call as a Gruul that's good against all the combo decks. Like in black, you can play Duress, you can play more Thoughtseize or whatever. In blue, you can play counter spells, but in red and green, there's nothing. You can play Wailing Volley, but then you don't use it against Creativity or Traxa. Then you can just play other cards, but then they don't help you against Greasefang. So Stonebrain just helps you against all the combo decks. And I think that's it's just think of it as like a duress. It's like expensive duress, which is I think it does a job. Right, like you're playing Grisfang and you just get stone brained by Gruul. It's very hard for you to beat Gruul with the chariots and playing fair, I feel. So I think it's a fine card. Like also on the play, you just can just slaughter decks like Lotus Field, even Grisfang on the play, just stone brain turn 3. The game's over, right? Like you don't even get to play the Lotus Field or the Neoforms even with the best hands. So I think that's a very good also option. I think it's good. It's like an Necromantia colorless, right? So I think it's fair.
Yeah, I guess Stonebrain from the time being will be an evergreen Pioneer Cyber card.
Yep, I think so. I think it is, but it's not like all the yellow or elf decks. Just like this deck specifically. Like if there was like a blue-green deck, you would play counterspells. But it's just the lack of options. Like black and blue are the colors that interact. Like if there was a white-green deck, you might actually play like cards like the Archon of Emeria or something, which are actually good also, or maybe Redane, Thalia. Yeah, Thalia will be the card. But here, there's just no options. Like it's the best option because it's the only option, I think, against all the combos.
Yeah, because I was playing Green-White Angel, also had 4 Stone Brain, and I think another deck also had 4 Stone Brain, so I was curious to hear your opinion on the card.
I don't think it's that good in Angels, though.
We all know that cranial effects are not good.
No, they're not good.
Magic,
yeah, exactly. They suck, actually.
Yeah.
But I think in Angels specifically, it will probably not play it. I think White has some cards like Redane or whatever that are good enough. Like you can just have Rest in Peace, Redane, something like this, and you cover enough combos. Because most combos are either stack-based, so Redane is good, or like just graveyard-based. So you can just hit both. Also, like Rest in Peace is good against like even Lotus or whatever, right? So I will probably not playing White.
Did you see the new deck, the new Atraxa deck that won the challenge on Sunday?
The new Atraxa that won the challenge? Yeah,
first place, Xerk, the Yawgmoth Master, won in Pioneer without creativity, but with
creativity. Yeah, basically creativity, right? Those are the ones that were
creativity-less.
Yeah. In Explorer, I think it was, or just Transmogrify for the Atraxa. Yeah, but this is basically a more tuned creativity deck, I think. Big thing though is had Thoughtseize. Like, what? Like this is splashing for Thoughtseize and Kaito Shizuki, which obviously provides a fodder for the Transmogrify.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, Thoughtseize always adds an interesting angle to these combo decks because now you could go like Thoughtseize combo, right? Which is something that makes them. I assume the reason behind this is like this deck is actually quite good overall against the mid-range decks, but it falls really fast against control. And the Thoughtseize dynamic it's what makes Grisfang so good, right? Like if you are playing against a reactive deck, you can sometimes just Sam the card and just go like Thoughtseize combo on the same turn, and the game's often over. Like they have to leave mana and the 2 cards in their hand to be able to defend. And that's maybe a good direction for this deck. Of course, you're gonna suffer more against aggro decks, but it's not like Pioneer is super aggressive now. And maybe this is just better than normal creativity. Also, Omnixil is in the sideboard, I assume, for control as well, trying to carry the game with them.
Yeah. And it's more tokens that you can target Transmogrify with.
Yeah, I mean, this deck is good. But for example, you're playing this deck, if a red-green deck just stone brains your Transmogrify or Atraxas, like your Atraxas, you're in trouble. Like, of course, your deck is very functional. You can still play a Typhoon and try to win the game with it, or you're in trouble. Like, you're going to have a rough time beating a Gruul in a long game with this deck. Because you're going to eventually like draw like air or whatever, and they have like a lot of large cards. Even like cards like Lair of the Hydra, you have to kill absolutely everything. You can win with a Fable, I guess. But it's going to be
Shark, but
it's still going to be easy.
You can Artcast Shark.
You can Hardcast Shark. You can also cycle for X7. Like, you can win. It's not like Stonebrain is there to...
No, of course. I understand what you mean.
But you will be in trouble, right? So...
Yeah, really like the Thoughtseize in combo decks. I was mentioning how much I don't really like Thoughtseize in Modern. I think they're probably the lowest that there have ever been. And but they're good maybe in Junk Creativity, where they protect your combo, so you can just go off.
Yeah,
but then
exactly. Thoughtseize is more like this.
Yeah, they have the classic weakness of you Thoughtseize pass the turn after your combo, they drew the answer, which, that happened twice today when I was playing Living End. There's a Grief my opponent the turn after I Cascade, and
it happens.
Your counter spell. Yeah, and it's part of the reason why the counters are probably better, right?
Yeah, I mean they're better now. Yeah. All right, I think we move to the next format, shall we?
Yeah, let's move to the legacy format, where, as we mentioned earlier, it's where Fairy Mastermind shined the most, winning on Sunday by Ozymandias, which, by the way, he top 8'd on Saturday with Staff of Domination. No, sorry, what's the name? Staff of
Storyteller.
He top 8'd on Saturday with Staff of the Storyteller, and then on Sunday they replaced the Staff with Fairy Mastermind and came first place.
I don't think I've seen like these many times. It's not like they only replace the stuff. They also replace like the whole deck. Like one is a Stoneforge staff, like more mid-range deck or whatever. The other one is more control. It has like a lot of planeswalkers. Yeah. I don't think we say many times like Saturday a player top 8s in the challenge, and Sunday it tops the challenge with a different deck. Yeah, we've seen a lot of times like someone wins 2 in a row or whatever. We've seen this a lot, or like 2 top 8s in a row, but it's always with the same deck. It's never like I just changed 15 cards or 10 cards or whatever, which is a lot for Legacy, by the way. It's just like, I don't know, I think it's funny. I think that's very uncommon to see. It's like outside the sideboard is it's drastically different. Those are two different decks.
It showed me that this person has a huge critical thought, critical process.
Well, I can see that. They may top it and they will probably like, there's like a shit. I'm gonna play.
Yeah, no, I think that I've been mentioning ever since my first week of Legacy post Expressive Iteration. Control decks are amazing right now. You can build a plethora of different Source to Plowshare Prismatic Ending decks, and they're gonna all be great.
Yep. That's a good time to play Control.
Just you beat Delver so soundly that you have the room to be fine against the rest of the field.
The issue with Mastermind though is if Fire Mastermind becomes good, that might be enough to make Control bad, because Fire Mastermind is actually like very bad against the other decks. Like you play against, I don't know, Remater or Death and Taxes, and you draw this card, and it's like an actual like a dead card.
Yeah, this deck has use for it. Like for example, in combination with Narset, it's very good.
No, it has some uses, but it's sort of a Pyroblast that it's not dead. It's just bad, but it's still Pyroblast effect, where the fact that Pyroblast exists makes the blue decks worse because they main deck the card and then they have this card against anything else. Then again, it's a Pyroblast that's blue, so you can exile it and you can just play it to drop and trade with someone, but it's still a Pyroblast. Like you draw 2 of these cards against Death and Taxes, you lose in the game. So it's
the reaction for Control to be so popular has been the rise of Cloud Post. With 2 in the 2 different top 8s, one of them came second. I streamed with this deck on Sunday, and I played against 2 Control decks and Mono White, and I beat them, and I played against 2 combo decks, and I lost. Exactly. So it's just a typical green 12 post experience of you just gotta get the right pairings, and you might win
the tournament. Yeah, I mean, you just destroy Control with this. And if they play more Takahashis, then it's even worse. Like, you draw 2 Takahashis against this deck, you're dead also.
Yeah.
I think we'll see how it evolves. I think it's an interesting moment for Legacy because depending on how good Takahashi is, if it's really good, if the card is really strong in Legacy, it might actually push a lot of blue decks out of the metagame for that reason. Because if control decks and everyone deck plays 4 Takahashis, then you really don't want to play blue without Takahashi as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, then you probably, if you don't want to play control, you probably should not play blue. And that's something uncommon. Yeah, like the card seems like perfectly designed to push blue out of the Legacy dominating position. Like if imagine if it's super good. Imagine if it's ultra good. Yeah, that will push blue out, I think.
Also, if you look at this 2 top 8s, there's no 8 cast, and I believe that's like the first time ever that 8 cast doesn't do well.
No Painter also. Magic Online. You know what's there though? Safali Breakfast. A solid.
Yeah. No, but the Fury Mastermind, of course, is amazing against 8 cast, as that deck
absolutely
draws so many cards. and it doesn't draw them that early, I mean, sure, they might easily cast a Thoughtcast on turn 1 or 2, but most of the time it's just a slow engine.
Even with bubbles or something, you know, it's very it's annoying.
Yeah. Oh, that's true for sure.
Yeah.
Like imagine you go bubble in my upkeep.
No,
I'll play Fairy Mastermind.
yeah, that's bad news. Very bad news.
No, I mean I can easily see Fairy Mastermind be amazing against 8-cast.
It's surely amazing against headcast. I think it's easy to picture that. So yeah, I think we will talk about this after
Cephalids,
also. Cephalid, but with masterminds, huh?
No, Cephalid with Staff of the Storyteller.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of wild. That probably speaks on like how good the Staff of the Storyteller, how good it is. I don't know. It's just like a B plan. Cephalid also doesn't play that many tokens, but it plays the Ursa Saga, which is a token, so you can just draw a card. Yeah, I mean, it's I didn't see that one coming. I never tried that card in Cephalid. Maybe I should have, you know. It seems to me like it's a card that should be better in the Jorian builds, though, right?
Well, the problem of this card is that if you don't trigger it more than once, it's bad. And the Cephalids, like, you look at this list. How does this list make token? All yours is Saga.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And I guess Retrofit a Foundry.
Well, Foundry also, yeah. But if you play Jorian, you can actually just have a situation where you Jorian the stuff and draw another card, which is fine.
Although this list doesn't play Stoneforge, which is so good for me. Like I can never see not playing Stoneforge in this deck.
Isn't it the best card in like Cephalid secretly?
It's so good.
Yeah.
It fetches the combo and then post sideboard whenever you bring in the removal spell. It's such an amazing plan against Delver.
Against everything. They play Layla to avoid your sure, you know, fold that, Stoneforge, Caldra, GG, you know.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I don't think Cephalid, I mean, you guys know I played this deck for years. Whenever I just always felt Mystic was the best card in the deck, and I think that's still true. Like it just lets you pivot so much after sideboard. Also, even game one sometimes because on decks play like Leylands or whatever, or even Scavenging Oozes, that kind of stuff. You just play Caldra, and that's often enough to win games.
Yeah, I've played Cephalids 2 times this weekend. On Saturday at the team event, where I went 2-1 with it, but we didn't make the top 4. And on Monday, I played also a Monday night Legacy. I went 2-2, so not the best results.
Not the best
for my Cephalids experience.
I remember now. I signed some Cephalid, like 2 Cephalids in Petit Phyrexia.
Okay, only 2.
Yeah, different players though. Yeah, it's a thing. I found it funny.
Yeah, for sure. Overall, a deck that, unlike other decks, always in the top 8 every week.
Yeah, I'm also glad you're playing it in paper. You know, I think it's a fun deck for a combo deck. I think combo decks are often somewhat repetitive. This one is a little bit less because the games sometimes branch like in a very strange ways. You know, you end having like to attack with Narcomoebas for the kill and this kind of stuff. And I think that's kind of fun. Yep. Would you play it again? In store tournaments?
I don't. No, I think I've played it enough.
No, one more, Rengu. Give it a chance.
No, actually, I unbuilt it at the tournament after.
That's sad.
After the tournament, because I was kind of lazy. You know, I didn't want to build a new deck, so I kept on playing Cephalids. And at the end, I was like, I have a cap on how many times I like to play the same deck.
Let's make a deal. If I ever top it again, a Legacy Challenge or Showcase with Cephalid, you play at least one time more. With
you or in
with my if I top it with Cephalid, if I top it on a tournament with Cephalid, you will play one time Cephalid more in a tournament with my list. Okay,
it's
a deal. Okay, it's a deal. I don't play some challenges anymore, but one day I might. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, have a deal.
All right, Javier. How about we talk about the one and only
the format. The Anthony's favorite format.
Anthony's favorite format.
Alchemy.
We are 58 to 50 seconds deep into this podcast. 0% chance Anthony's still losing.
He's not here. I actually played this format a little bit in the other in paper here in my town because people gather.
But what format is it?
Pauper.
What format is
format
it?
of the people. Apparently, it is a format of the people of my town because they played there. Like they actually some players gathered to play and they were playing like I got borrowed like a mono red deck. So you played against mono red against like I think it was elves and a mirror match and then affinity or something. Yeah.
Did it have the new card, Frenzy Resolve?
I don't think they had it yet. Yeah. But it was, I don't know, the deck is very, it's the only deck I have played, but it's just so good. I just feel like, wow, this deck is so functional. I just keep feeling it's impressive. You know, I assume it's going to be better even with Frenzy Resolve, but that's all I can add to the Pauper. But like, if I had to play a tournament now, I would probably play Turbo Fog because I want to try the experience. But if it was a serious tournament, I would play, Marred, this Marred Kuldotha Impulse deck. It just feels like so good.
Here, one question. Let's say you qualify for the Barcelona Pro Tour next weekend. Okay. Will you come to Paupergeddon in June?
There's not a zero chance. I will have to consider.
Non-zero. Okay.
It's definitely non-zero. If I qualify for Barcelona, I would like to go to at least one or two events, like this sort of for fun events, because I actually enjoy them a lot. If I don't, I will try to be qualifying for Barcelona.
The Paupergeddon in Pisa in June, it's going to be a 2 days event.
Nice.
And it's going to have a lot of side events, and it's all Pauper.
I actually might, if I, like the logistics are good and I don't have anything else, I actually might. I want to go once, to those tournaments because you always speak very well of them, and I might.
Yeah, and it's Tuscany, Pisa, Tuscany.
Toscana? I know the name.
Toscana, yeah, it's just like the best place in the world for food.
Well, you're getting me there, Also, I mean, even if when you travel with Mengu in Italy, he knows the places, so it's like guaranteed to be a success usually, as long as he cares.
I asked the right people.
Yeah, you have to make sure he cares because otherwise you will end on like a McDonald's. But if you make him care, he will take you to the best places. So I'm liking that. Yeah. All right, let's talk about what happened. I mean, I see a lot of mid enforcers.
Yeah, first and second on Saturday is Affinity, but there's definitely different versions of Ren's Resolve, which is like the hottest. It's like now Mono Red has 8 card draw spells, not only Reckless Impulse but also Ren's Resolve, which is the same card.
And Synthesizer, right? So it's like draw card, draw spells. Basically, the Mono Red plays like a Delver deck in a way, Like you can be the aggressor, you can go like Swiss Spear, burn, bang, bang. Or you can just go like, Impulse, Synthesizer, Impulse, I have 4 cards, you have 2.
Yeah, there's 2 different lists that top 8'd. One is with Kuldotha and the other one isn't with Kuldotha, it's with Thermo Alchemist.
Yeah, I don't know which one is better. I mean, it's hard to tell, I guess.
And so it's very hard to me to say that Reckless Impulse, Vern Resolve, Thermo Alchemist, and Cassie, like that's 16 2-drop.
That's a little bit too much, maybe.
Huh? I'm scared, yeah.
Yeah, but those cards also play very well together. The Kuldotha card is also quite impressive, I think.
For sure.
Yeah, so also good in the mirror match-ish type of games as well, which I assume are relevant as well.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. I mean, I will have to test it, but it's probably like... I mean, if I had to bet right now, I will guess the Kuldotha one is better, but it's hard to decide.
Also, I think that the biggest card for Pauper, the best card for Pauper from the new set is blue, and it's Meeting of Minds. 3 in a blue, convoke, draw 2 cards, instant.
What?
That card...
convoke, yeah.
That card is insane. Like, I went to Berlin last weekend, and I played against a Toffel in Pauper, and I played that card for 0 mana every time I cast that card. It was 0 mana draw 2.
0 mana draw 2 in Fairies is like very good. I mean, there was, this one and...
No, mostly it's... I think the best shell is Familiars, but I think Blue White Colgates can also play it.
Yeah, true, Familiars.
Familiars... I saw a tweet by somebody saying that the top 5 Pauper leaderboard of Trophy all play Familiars.
Wow. Is it that good?
Yeah. I mean, it's a good deck, yes, for sure. I think in paper it's even better because you can shortcut every infinite loop.
It's so hard to play this deck in online, I remembered. Like, it's so hard to just do all the things.
Yeah, online, you definitely have the clock mattering more than in paper. But I guess in paper you also have the draw burden above you.
No, but like if you combo, I mean, you can just play one of the mill guys and you use a combo, you have a loop and you kill it, right? Like you kill it. It's like 10 seconds, right? I mean, like half a minute or something, but
Yeah.
You declare the loop, you draw your whole deck, and you play the guy, and they die. That's fast enough, I would say.
But online, in particular, this player, GN42, doesn't even play any Sage Road and Eisen, just Muldrifter Beatdown.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine as well, I guess. Especially on Pauperism, but...
Oh, did you see there's a Turbo Fog as well on topic?
I see. I want to play that deck once, at least in my life, before it rotates out or, gets power crept out, but...
Yeah.
It doesn't seem good, but it seems so fun. Also for Weather the Storm to be the mono red players, I assume. No?
I bought the cards this weekend at the store for the Naya what's it called? Naya Gate deck.
Yeah, I don't feel attracted to these gate decks. I don't know. Tablets are
You don't feel it? Yeah, I like this one. This has 3 Armadillo Cloak, which is
good against mono red.
You put it on one of your 4 Guardian of the Guild Pact.
GG.
And you have a deal.
Yeah, you have a deal. GG. Shake the handshake.
Yeah, I still have your 2 Guardian of the... I don't know if we ever said it on the podcast, but once I was at Javier's house in Valencia, and I was building a deck. We needed some proxy to right behind. So he gave me a bunch of ball cards, and I saw 2 Guardian of the Guild Pact stamped from Nationals 2005 in Spain. And I immediately told him, "Can I take those?" He said yes, and now I play Pauper with them.
I'm glad. Mengu taught me this, and cards are meant to be played, so it gives me joy that you're playing those cards, and you also remember the Spanish ones you get from my home.
Spanish stamped.
That gives me joy, That gives me way more joy than I will get by owning them, owning them and maybe not even remembering I have them or something, or never playing with them. But knowing that you have them and you play them with them, it's good. I like it. It's
yeah, they're not even stamped. There's just written 2 on them.
2. I mean, no, but I think the 2 is a second draft maybe.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You're a second table.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like a set. Yeah, I think it's a set, more like a 2. But yeah, I remember the stamp.
Yeah. But over.
All right, that's a good story. I think maybe we should call it a day.
Sure, we have a lot of things to do. I need to test. Also, I need to do the power
ranking.
Top 15 modern.
Bye,
it's gonna be exciting. Yeah. Javier said that I should ditch Hammer.
Yeah, bye, Hammer. It was a good run
from the top.
I'm sorry for the Hammer aficionados, but yeah, I mean it's good for them probably.
You beat me like a few weeks ago with Hammer.
Yeah, I did.
That
was my goodbye to the deck, But yeah, it was a good game. I like the Hammer play style. Those decks are natural to me. I love this, kind of aggro combo deck. But I just don't think it's good enough against the hate. So, yeah. I mean, I'm going to see you in a few days, actually.
Yeah, we'll see each other on Thursday, right?
Thursday, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It will be good to see you again.
For sure.
You will see Anthony.
Okay, Javier, let's call it a day. Let's say goodbye to all the listeners. Remembering you that next week, of course, we won't be home. We'll be all in Minneapolis.
But in 2 weeks, we will have a full Minneapolis PT story, probably a long one with all 3 telling everything that happened in the PT. Hopefully with a trophy, between one of us. Yeah. But if not, I'm sure it's going to have a great time. So, yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. And, yeah, thanks, viewers, I'm going to say.
The listeners, yes. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, ciao. Cheers.